Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and tonight I'm going to be telling you about something I discovered about 12 years ago now. I was on special assignment for work at the time, and a very lonely assignment, very solitude-esque assignment, and I found a late night radio program that I really enjoyed, and it became my companion over these, dark and quiet hours, so I'm going to tell you about that. If you've been enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little notification bell up there so whenever I do post something new, you'll be the first to know. I try to do them on a fairly regular basis. Sometimes I'll be able to do a couple in a day and then spread them out. Other times it might take me a week till I get back to them. You never know. Life gets in the way, unfortunately, and we're coming up to the holiday season. You mix all that in, plus this COVID crap going on, and you never know what you're going to get. But if you enjoy this video, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to leave something down in the comments. I always look forward to reading them. If there's something you like about the video, something you dislike about the video, or if you have any experience with the topic we're going to talk about tonight, I'd love to hear from you. So, let me set you up for the background. Was working in Dallas at the time. The company I worked for back then, I technically still kind of work for them now, but, it was a different kind of situation there. They had an apartment complex where all the fire suppression systems and fire alert systems on the whole complex were not working. Something had broken down, and it was going to take like 4 or 5 months to fix this. So the assignment that I was on, I was part of a crew, 6-man crew. I was the 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. crew, and, the rest of the guys were 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Basically, we just had to watch this property 24 hours a day. We had to walk around, make sure nothing was catching on fire, drive around the parking lot, literally just watch the buildings. That's it, in this kind of like quiet neighborhood in Dallas, not a lot going on, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. So I brought some comic books along with me at the time. Like I said, the other two guys were kind of in their car. I was in mine. We'd drive around, walk around. Sometimes we'd meet up, but most of the time, I was alone. Talked to my wife a little bit before she went to bed, but of course she wouldn't be up overnight, and I was on a wickedly crazy schedule at the time. I've always enjoyed listening to the radio, not just music, but just talk shows sometimes, you hear some interesting opinions on things. One night I was like, I had read all the comics I had with me at that particular time. I was like, let me flip through the radio channels. And I discovered something called Coast to Coast AM. For those of you who don't know about Coast to Coast AM, let me explain. It's on about 5 hours a night. Usually, or at least in the market in the area I live in, it's normally like midnight to 5 a.m. Obviously, other places are going to be different times. But it deals with pretty much everything paranormal, scientific, UFOs, aliens, werewolves, lizard people, all those interesting topics that are talked about, but there is also some legitimate science in there. It's not just all, a bunch of crackpots, tinfoil hat wearing people. I mean, there are a lot of interesting segments on there where they have somebody who's a genuine scientist come on there and explain a concept or whatnot. Then they open the phone lines, and that's when the kooks come out, and that's when it gets really entertaining. But, just to give you a little background, my whole life I've been a fan of science fiction, and I've talked about this in other videos. I've always had a huge interest in science fiction, paranormal, things that go bump in the night, things that aren't so easily explained. One of the best skills I learned in my time in the Army was to be a little bit more aware than your average person, have a heightened awareness of things that are going on. Most people these days are kind of in a daze. They're in a trance. They're just so zeroed in on what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, that they don't see the bigger picture. And whether it's a blessing or a curse is up for debate. I've always kind of had a wider viewpoint. I've always been a lot more aware of things than your average person. So, my whole life interested in, UFOs, aliens, paranormal, like I said. I mean, I'm beating a dead horse here, but I started listening to this program, and within a couple of minutes I was going to turn it off. I was like, well, what kind of crap is this, man? This is just such like pseudoscience. What kind of joke is this? But I stuck with it. Excuse me one second. Allergies. I do apologize. I don't know how to edit the video. I've been on a roll, so we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen and keep going. Like I said, so it was very lonely. The world is very dark and quiet. Midnight to 8 a.m., there's not a lot going on. Even at this particular place. I mean, there were some people rustling around here and there, but generally speaking, dead silence. Not a lot going on. I think one time in the 4 months or something that I was on this assignment, the fire marshal actually showed up. Let me make this clear. This assignment was 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 until it was done. So I worked literally 3-4 months straight. Didn't take a day off. Maybe they gave me one day off somewhere in there just to recuperate my body. Again, all I was doing was walking around this property and driving around this property, like physically not demanding. But, when you work 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. and you get home, you're exhausted. But by the time you get home, it's like you shower, you can't even sleep. Sunlight is outside and everybody else around you is making noise. So it's like I didn't get a lot of sleep, obviously, on this assignment. I didn't really even sleep overnight. So my body was kind of breaking down, so to speak. Like I said, here I was in Dallas. My wife was in Houston at the time. So it was very lonely during these overnight hours, and then I started listening to this radio show, which was on, I want to say like 5 days a week it was on. And I just fell in love with it, I mean, yes, it's very kooky and it's very out there and it's very tinfoil hat, but just like I said, I've always had interest in those topics, and unfortunately, a lot of the friends and people in my life haven't. So I don't really have an outlet for all that energy, or a means to talk about it, or a means to even bring it into the light. It's kind of something that I keep not like a secret, but I keep to myself because I'm really the only one I can that has genuine interest in this. But it was a cool little radio program. Like I said, they talked about Roswell. They talk about all these other UFO incidents that have happened over time. Betty and Barney Hill, I think, was one of the other famous ones. They talk about alternate dimensions. They talk about multiverse. They talk about werewolves and monsters, and then they would talk about kind of government conspiracies, which realistically are probably not conspiracies, because here's the thing, people. A lot of people are very naive in this world, and you're not willing to believe that evil exists and that evil men do evil things, and they would talk about all these things that had been classified beyond top secret that eventually came to light, that the government was doing, purposely infecting a certain community with smallpox, or doing something to the water, or doing some kind of subliminal messaging, whatever it is. They would cover all these things, and like I said, you get these people calling in. Oh, I had the lizard man baby, oh, I saw a UFO, and they picked up Bigfoot, whatever, like I said, it was entertaining, it was funny as hell, but it was interesting. Like I said, they would have genuine scientists come on the show and kind of walk you through, real kind of have like a lesson, so it was interesting. Like I said, it made those lonely nights from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. a lot more bearable. When I get done reading my comics, I'd sit there and listen to this for a couple hours. It was kind of cool, just sitting there looking up at the stars, nice cool breeze, dead silence of the night, I mean, it kind of passed that time. And it was neat because it was almost like I had a friend sitting with me there that shared that same interest. Like I said, a lot of my friends, they might like science fiction movies or comics or something like that, but I've never really had somebody that shared that level of interest in it that I have. So just to be able to have an outlet for that finally was really kind of cool. I try to listen to it, but obviously, look, I'm going to be 45 in January. I can't stay up that late anymore. I'm sorry, I'm an old fart for my age. I just can't do it, So I haven't listened to the program for many years. I know it's still on because sometimes, something about it will pop up on my Facebook feed. I know it's not as popular now as when it was started back in the 90s. The original guy who did it was a lot more popular than this replacement guy. There was a big feud between them, and this whole look it up on Wikipedia. There's this whole big thing going on about it. Sometimes when it wasn't like a live show, when it was a new show, they would play the archives of the original guy. And he was pretty good, but he was kind of snarky too. He kind of really could be a dick to the callers, especially. Whereas this new guy kind of plays them on and eggs them on and kind of makes fun of them, and they don't even realize it. So, like I said, it was just it was a nice companion during a difficult time, because like I said, this was a nonstop assignment. Really, I really want to say I was there like 4 months straight. Imagine that, 7 days a week. You're tired. I mean, and late at night is the worst time for me, because I'll be sitting there sometimes staring at the ceiling, and my brain, guys, the way my brain works, I see, and I've talked about this in other videos, I see the entire plane of existence. I see every possible outcome of everything I ever do. I'm not very spontaneous. I think everything through. I analyze everything. So nighttime is usually the worst time for me. If I'm dealing with a bout of insomnia one day, I'm sitting there staring at the ceiling, thinking about every mistake I've ever made in my life. So to have this there with me and take my mind off of all that, for a couple hours, it was just nice. And again, like I said, so many interesting topics they would always talk about. Paranormal is something, as I said, since I was a child, I've always had an interest in. I've actually had a paranormal thing that, maybe I will talk about, maybe I won't, because the last time I talked about it a couple of years ago on Facebook, certain people threw a fit, so I'm going to kind of keep quiet about that. I might eventually talk about it, but as I said, being that it's a topic I've loved and took a serious interest in since I was a child, that was the first time, probably since like high school, that I had enough free time on my hands where I could fully explore, fully dive right in, fully enjoy it, really think about it, really consider it, and just enjoy just discussing the topics. So, okay, I wasn't really discussing, hearing discussions about the topics, So if you've never heard the radio program, I'm sure they've got a podcast. I'm sure you could probably find clips of it somewhere. I don't know if anybody has any other interest in this kind of stuff. If you do, definitely let me know in the comments section. I would love to meet another, nut job like myself, even though, I say that, tongue in cheek. I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm a little out there, but I'm not tinfoil wearing person. I'm not Mr. Conspiracy Theory. But I'm also aware that, in this world, there is more than meets the eye, not just the Transformers, tagline. So anyway, guys, if you have never seen, one of my videos, definitely stick with me. I hope you enjoy this channel. I've got a little bit of everything. Sometimes I talk about crazy dreams I've had, talk about certain, sports memories. I mostly deal with music, movies, video games, things like that, life experiences, so just stick around. Much like the radio program, there's a little bit of everything. If you've been enjoying my videos, definitely subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this one. Feel free to leave me something down in the comments if you are aware of the Coast to Coast radio program, or you have any interest in the paranormal. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me something you like about the video, something you don't like, and I will see you in the next one. And if you are up late tonight, or you're ever up overnight, take a listen and see what you think. Bye-bye.